Welcome back to the Wayfinder's Path. I'm chanellebarona. And in this installment of Mercury's in Gatorade, we had some problems recording this week. So things are going to be a little different. It's going to be an audio reading, and you will have a photo of the cards to be able to follow along. If you have any questions, please do feel free to drop comments below, and maybe you'll see something different. Maybe you'll enjoy this format. I encourage you to look at the artwork of the cards and see how that resonates and how it maybe changes the sense of the reading for you. Now on to the reading. Enjoy. So for this next installment, we have the new moon in Gemini, which is falling in 9 degrees of Gemini. So you can look in your own chart to see how this moon's going to affect you. This one's very close to the Mercury retrograde placement, so a lot of us will be seeing, I think, some kind of continuation of our Mercury retrograde story or very similar themes. At least for me, it does fall in my same house, unless you are right on a cutoff point. Now, so the other thing is that we don't have a lot of crazy aspects to this moon. It's much simpler than a lot of the other things that we've been dealing with. We've been going through some really tough times during eclipse season. This one is not an eclipse, and thank God, because there's been enough of that, I think, for all of us. Now, so moon in Gemini, that's going to be very cerebral. You're going to be having lots of ideas. Communication's going to be picking up. I really do think that we're going to be getting collectively a lot of new information coming in that's going to tell us how we're moving forward, how things have changed. I do feel like there is some really big change coming, that we're actually going to see the results of the change of all the work that we've been doing over the last few weeks and through eclipse season. Now, the only other aspect in this moon is Mars sextile the moon, and I feel like this means that we're going to be getting a little bit of help from Mars. We're going to be having the drive to speak up. We're going to be having the drive to stand up for ourselves. We're also going to be able to take action on all of these ideas that are swirling around in our head. Now, that being said, Mars and Gemini both have lots of energy, so do be careful on not burning yourself out, not trying to do too much. Work with the energy to get shit done, to make movement forward, and to get some of your ideas out of the ephemeral and into the real world. So let's go right on ahead and jump into the cards for this new moon. Today I'm using the Mystic Mondays tarot deck. It's one of my oldest and favorite decks. So first card out of the deck is we have the Four of Pentacles. And like I just said, I feel like this is about actually seeing real world results of things that we have been internally working on for a while. The Four of Pentacles speaks to the four corners of a building, the foundation, building up the structure around you. The Four of Pentacles is also maybe that you finally got a little bit of stability, like maybe all of those dreams and those things you've been working on, you had to confront your fears, you've moved through them, and now you've got something to show for it. Like it's kind of new. It's not a lot. The Four of Pentacles often comes along with people who've like finally made a little bit of money or finally found some stability, and they're clinging on to it really tightly. The lesson of this card is make sure that you don't fall back into those patterns of lack mindset. Know that you've come this far because you could, and you can go even farther in the future. And this is only the beginning. This isn't a temporary stability. This has the foundations for long-term stability, but you can't be focused on that stability might crumble, because I know it has been. I know that we've been building stability and then it's been falling down. We're building something and then it's falling down. And this time it's asking you to really take your time and do it right. Now, being that Mercury is still retrograde, knowing that there's a lot of extra little hiccups and things like that, don't let those deter you from what you're building and where you're going. Interesting. So we also have the Four of Wands, 4-4 now, and this one also kind of has very similar energy of like the four corners of a structure, but this one is about like celebrating. This is, we're in the last little bit of springtime. Summer is like, the summer starts this weekend, and I feel like this is talking about that everything that we've been working towards, we've been taking all of these steps, and not only are we building out of a structure for safety and security, we're also building the structures of things that give us passion. The Four of Wands says celebrate what you've already got. Celebrate what you have now. I know you're not where you want to be. I know that there's more to come, plenty more to come, but I want you to really focus on celebrating your wins and looking at how far you've come, looking at how far things are working right now. This is a time to stop and celebrate. I also would take this as it's Memorial Day weekend. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Quit worrying about the real world shit for just a minute and enjoy yourself for a day. I really could see that playing out. Let's see what else. And the Five of Pentacles. So I do feel like with this one is this kind of goes back to the Four of Pentacles message, where there's a lot of what they share is lack mindset. They share feeling like there may be some hardship, there may be some hiccups. We might have had some problems recently when we go, how am I going to deal with these, financial setbacks, feeling like you're always left out in the cold, that things never work the way that you want. But I want you to know that there is something outside of yourself that is able to help you through this. This may be a friend, this may be a mentor, a teacher, a spiritual leader. This could be a lot of different things, but there are resources and aid outside of yourself that you can lean on. You don't have to do it all alone. You're not alone. You have had to do so many things on your own for a long time. I know some of you don't believe that you can... Some of you don't believe that you can find this success again, that you don't think you can overcome these obstacles that you know you have to face. But I want you to know that you can, and that even if you don't know if you don't know the solution yourself, that there may be somebody else around you. Talk it out with somebody. Look into resources, aid, investments. Look into different things out there that can help you navigate the challenges. Because if you look at things from a different perspective, you got to really, with Five Pentacles, be really careful about not focusing on the lack. We have to be very solution oriented and also be open to accepting help from other people and outside sources. So don't let your pride get in the way of this one. All right, so I want to pull these next few on moving forward. Like, all right, how do we overcome what's going on? What's going to be coming in the next few weeks? Okay, so we have Two of Pentacles reversed and the Hierophant. So I take this right away. Two of Pentacles this talks about feeling overwhelmed. Like you've got a lot on your plate. I feel like we've been having a lot of new things coming in with eclipses. As much as things have been falling away, new things have been coming in, and a lot of us have been like, especially with that Four of Pentacles, is that first card. I take this as somebody who, like, they take every opportunity, they take everything, and they're like energetically hoarding all of them, but it's making you overwhelmed. It's making you tired. You're probably hitting burnout, breakdown, and this is a time to know that structure and stability and growth is something that comes over time. The Hierophant talks about a couple of things here. This could be bigger organizations, which comes back to that aid in the Five of Pentacles card. This can be organizations. This can represent things like the church, corporations, things like that. Things that have hierarchies, that there are other things out there. And this is, you see in this card that there's like this stairway around the pyramid. And this is something you have to climb the ladder. You don't get to go where you want without putting in the time and the effort to build upon your previous successes, though. You don't just go from 0 to 100. You build a step, and then you build another step, and then you build another step. And if you've reached the end of your stairway, either see who can help you with that. The Hierophant can also tell me that there may be some learning involved in this. There may be something you need to learn. There's still lessons that we're learning that are very important. And you have to make sure that as you're climbing, you can't push yourself too far. If somebody's hiking or climbing a mountain, you can't push and push and push until you literally fall over from exhaustion, because it'll happen. And that's when you're more prone to getting hurt. You're more prone to falling back down and having to start from the beginning. So I want y'all to pace yourself, because we've gone through a lot. The energy right now, there's a lot of energy. And I know we all just want to rush forward and do all of the things, but we can't. We can't do everything. There will be time to do other things, but right now I want you to really focus on what's important, what matters, and what builds to your future success. If you're burned out because you're spending a bunch of time on something that's not helping you in the long run, it's probably time to step back from that and reevaluate where you spend your time. And I also could see this too, as some of you in particular are really burned out in your corporate job. For those of you, I just want to pull one more specific card, because what you're supposed to do about that. Three of Pentacles reversed. I feel like that if you're not getting something from being within the corporate structure, if you're not getting something like you're learning skills that are valuable and important, or you have a mentor or a boss who's helping you, I'm feeling like that you do need to maybe find a mentor, or that you need to be looking at positions and opportunities that actually are going to teach you something. Like, that's the whole point of the corporation and climbing the corporate ladder, is that you should be learning something. You learn on the job. You get paid to learn. And I feel like that in this case, Three of Pentacles, this reversed is, upright. It's the apprentice card. It's somebody who's learning their craft. And I can take this as either as, if you know this is what you want and that long term this is the goal, that you need to learn. Like, use this opportunity where you're not at these higher levels, learn those lower opportunities or use those lower levels as a learning opportunity. What can you gain and learn and get out of your circumstance? And if you're getting absolutely nothing but burnout and it's still not making you happy, it's still not meeting your needs, it may start to be time to look for other things that you can build long-term stability on. Okay, so right now for these two cards, I feel like we have the same energies available to all of us, but some of us it landed completely sideways, which for me means kind of going back and forth between that energy. But I actually think this is two different schools of thought, two different groups of people. Some of you are accessing one version of this card, and some of you are accessing the other versions of these energies. So Group 1, we have Eight of Cups reversed and the Emperor. And so Eight of Cups reversed means that, like, you are very reluctant to, like, you're probably in a position of responsibility, of leadership, of solo. Maybe you work for yourself, or you are the boss and you have people that work underneath you. But either way, you have a responsibility to other people. And you are trying to think of doing all. You feel like you have to do all of it. You have to carry everybody else's weight. You have to carry the weight of the whole world on your shoulders. And I actually want you to kind of focus on which of those things, which of that weight is not yours to carry. Some of this burden is not for you. The weight of responsibility sits on your shoulders, but is that something you're actually supposed to be responsible for? And you can't keep self-sacrificing in order to carry other people along with you. And especially if you're a boss, if you've got people working under you that they're taking away more than they're helping, this may not be a good situation. This may not be something that you're working. You may need to trim the fat in your business. You may need to look at what parts of your business are not working, or what parts of this situation are not working, who's not pulling their weight. And you may need to let some things go. Maybe these are people, these could be employees. This could also be maybe responsibilities that aren't yours. I could also see this as needing to delegate if you're not already delegating. Find somebody to help you carry this burden, because you don't need to carry all of it. You can have somebody help you. So if I feel like I'm getting a very specific message for some people, which is that you've gotten some finances together, your thing is growing, but you haven't brought anybody else on to help you, and you're absolutely spread so thin that you're trying to do it all. And this is not sustainable for you. This is something that I think is going to, while it's admirable, I think you can have somebody else carry it with you, or there may be a part of your business that you need to let go of, that it's not profitable, it's not practical, and it doesn't make sense to keep moving forward with that. Now, Group 2 is, I feel like some people are really realizing where either they're not stepping up as leaders and they should be, but also that there are some people that are probably walking away from jobs right now, bottom line, or starting, like, ready to set off. I feel like this actually might have already happened in this case. The Emperor reversed with the Eight of Cups upright is somebody who's already done this, who's already trimmed the fat, who's already realized that the thing that wasn't working, they've accepted it and they're letting it go, and they're willing to walk into this new moon with, this is a fresh start. Clean slate, we're going to be doing this differently, and I'm not letting someone who is power hungry or power mad dictate how I live my life. I see this as shedding emotional burdens that you don't need to do anymore, especially emotional burdens that have to do with other people. The Emperor reversed is someone who's domineering and controlling, but you're going to have to make a change and be willing to leave something behind in order for that change to actually take effect. Now I want to jump into the part of the reading where I let y'all's intuition do the work. And so some of these messages, these are going to be more specific ones. Some of these are for you and some of these aren't. I challenge you to decide which or not. Don't just hear what you want to hear what resonates. Look for the signs in your body. My 2 signs are when something's not for me, I feel like sick to my stomach, it just nauseous, anxious, like it's here and it doesn't feel good. It can feel like a tightness in your chest. For me, my yes signs tend to be like body chills and tingles and things like that. Not just numbness, but like, ooh, that feels kind of good. Feeling. So look for what your yes and no signs are in your body. I would hands down say this is the most important skill as an intuitive to learn and refine. So start looking at your body. When you know the answer is no to something, what does that feel like? When you know the answer is yes, what does that feel like? And you can start using your body's cues because it's trying to talk to you. It's trying to tell you to know when things are for you and when things aren't for you. And with all of this energy right now, we have a lot of Aries placements and we have a lot of Gemini placements in the sky. And so this is lots and lots of energy. I mean, Geminis talk a lot and have all these information and ideas, and Aries are like, let's do the thing, and they have all this energy. So it's very important to be careful where we apply that energy to be constructive and where we're building. So I want you to be really moving through this time. Even though that's air and fire energy, I want you to make sure you don't disconnect from your intuition. It will tell you where to put your energy and when. That's going to help you really navigate what's coming up. These also are things that are coming in the next 2 weeks. This could be your new moon story. This could be like where you need to be putting your energy, things like that. All right, some of you right off the bat, we are having disharmony in relationships. This also could be cheating and third-party energy. Some of you are dealing with like three's a crowd energy. Like there's too much, there's too many opinions, people getting into your space, people getting into your energy. Lots of stuff. Hold on, let me just finish shuffling here. Once through the deck, and then we'll go through the rest of it. Nice, some spicy stuff. Okay, let's go. All right, so like I was saying, 3 of Cups is the first one out. This is cheaters. This is third-party energy. This is people putting in their opinion when they don't need to. Your friends maybe have ideas on what you should do, but is they really the counsel that you should be listening to? I also could see this is somebody who could be drinking too much, partying too much, spending too much time with friends, and living excess. You can kind of see upright, it's supposed to be harmonious, but reversed, not so much. Let's go with some of these in the order they came out. All right, next is we have King of Cups, and this is for some of you that I feel like have been doing some really deep emotional introspection. The King of Cups represents emotional mastery, regardless of the external circumstances. So the seas may be turbulent, but the King of Cups is calm in the center of it. And this is someone who has looked at their emotions, and they don't not feel them. They feel them, but because they feel them, they process them, and then they move forward with that mastery, that they are able to actually get power out of that. 2 of Cups reversed. I feel like some of you with the 3 of Cups reversed and the 2 of Cups, I feel like this is both relationships and like boyfriends, girlfriends, romances, things that aren't working. Some of you probably have realized that like this isn't a soulmate. This isn't a long-term connection. This is, there's some lack of harmony within your close, intimate relationships and partnerships. And I really want you to be looking at that and deciding what's for you and what isn't. This could be very much, I think, these 3 of Cups cards and these 2 of Cups cards, whether it's, again, platonic, relational. These are things that are actually just sucking the life out of you. These are things that are distracting you from what you really need to be doing and where you need to be focusing your energy. And a lot of people I think are handling this well. They're able to process what's coming, but do they need to? Why do you always have to do so much work? Now we also, that same kind of energy with that 3 of Cups earlier where I mentioned we might have some excess. Some people are partying way too hard. Some of you are going way too hard, too much substance. The devil represents our addictions, and it represents our self-sabotaging behaviors. This is big Capricorn energy. This is like the things that are bad habits that don't serve us. And the key to that is to own that we have choice and that we have free will, and that we aren't victims of our circumstance. We control our reality. And some of you really need to hear this, but you need to fucking get some help. You need to really look at your shit, and you really need to do a bit of self-inventory, because you're sabotaging the opportunities that are trying to come to you. You're sabotaging the relationships in your life. Some of you, these relationships that are not working are because of your behaviors. I'm not saying everybody, but some of you it is. And we also have Five of Wands, which is conflict. And there's a lot of, everybody's tired and everybody's at each other's throats. But that Five of Wands also tells us, and we have the Five of Pentacles too, fives represent conflict. And Five of Wands asks you, what are you fighting for? Is it worth fighting? Or do you finally need to stand up and fight for something that maybe you haven't been fighting for yourself? So I really want you guys being super aware of where your energy is going, where it's being zapped, where you're being zapped by other people, where you're zapping other people, where you're losing energy and losing power and just hemorrhaging that energy in places you don't need to. There is some fat to be trimmed. I really want you guys to utilize the power of this energy, and instead of moving in 18 different directions all at once, which is the big energy I get right now, is refinement. Using the power of your willpower to focus your intent and focus your energy, because we do have a lot of energy to work with right now. But if you don't work it right, you can be working against yourself. You could be making it harder for yourself than you need to be. And the last card that came out was the Empress. And this is someone who knows their power, knows that they're at the top, and knows that good things come to them because of their own inherent power. The Empress, she doesn't chase opportunity. She sits back and allows the opportunity to come to her. We have both the Emperor and the Empress in the cards today, which tells me that people taking responsibility, being in positions of leadership, and also looking at your responsibility to maybe the greater good. Think about it as the people at the top. Are they doing what they want? And in this case, I would also take that as where I've ended up setting it now, the Emperor reversed and the Empress upright, that the masculine leadership is kind of failing us. Not surprised. We got anybody who's remotely been paying attention to the news knows that. And right now, our leadership doesn't need to be ruled by the masculine style of leadership. Leadership comes from the feminine in this case. The power, think of someone who's compassionate and rules with compassion, and really they care about the people below them. They don't have to chase things. We're not chasing stuff that's running away from us anymore. I don't know who needs to hear that, but somebody does. We're not chasing things. We're allowing things to come to us. So make sure that if you're going after something, it's because it's super important to you. It's because you have not an obligation, but a calling to do it. I don't want you guys getting your energy spread out in ways that it's not supposed to be. I know that we're at the beginning stages of a lot. We've got 4s and 5s and 3s and 2s. These are all the lower numbers, which tell me that these are beginning stages of longer term things. And if you think about it, when you're building foundations, going back to those first few cards out of the deck, those 4s, we are building the foundation that we are building our long-term happiness upon. And if you got skeletons in your concrete, you're going to always know that energy's there. It's always going to feel there. And I want you guys to be really aware of your emotions, really aware of your flaws, really aware of where you self-sabotage, and where maybe that these patterns are happening in the people around you, and that they may be sabotaging your relationships, that they may be trying to do their own thing, but they're just fighting. And I don't want people to be fighting over stupid shit right now. I want people to be fighting for things that are important. I want people to be standing up for themselves. That's the energy I see out of this. This, new moon in Gemini, you have a smart wit when moon is when the Gemini energy is around and it's Gemini season. This is very intellectual. It's very verbal. There's lots of communication happening. And, it is Mercury retrograde still until June 3rd. So we really do have to be careful about our communication right now. But I also am feeling there are times where there's These words have hands. There is a need sometimes for you to speak up. And that's the power of Gemini energy. And a new moon in Gemini tells me that you're going to speak up in the places where you've been silent. Aries energy that we've got with Jupiter Aries, Chiron in Aries, and Mars in Aries right now. This is where you then have the motivation to back it up. You've got the muscle to back up your words. You know what's right. You know where you're screwing up. I know you already do. You need to be honest with yourself and other people, though. Honesty is super important. Gemini can be very two-faced energy as well, so be aware that you may only be seeing one side of a circumstance. Do try to see it from both sides, but also don't let people walk all over you, especially with that Five of Wands. We've got all these, like the Empress, the King of Cups, the Emperor. These are leadership cards. These are independent. And, there can be multiple leaders that are on equal footing. You don't have to, there doesn't have to be a leader and a follower, but leaders need to be able to communicate with each other as well. And really try to focus on even though things are chaotic, I really do think, in this case, relationships are kind of under fire for a lot of people. Know that we're building the long-term success, and I don't want you to think that the challenges and the alignments that are happening are taking you away from that success. They're actually getting you where you want to go, even though I know it doesn't always feel like it. And I think that's it for today. So until next time, and as always, links of my upcoming events are down below. Please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps me a lot. My goal is 1,000 subscribers, so I can open up a premium subscription service here on YouTube. And the simplest thing you can do is follow and make sure you turn on your alerts so that you get notified for the next video. And until then, I will see you. Have a good day and good luck with everything.